Hey, Steve Wiedemann here. In this short video, I'm going to walk you through how to make sure that search engines don't index a piece of content that you don't want to show up in search results. And why is this important? Why wouldn't you want every single page on your website indexed? Well, sometimes you have thank you pages and confirmation pages or private pages just for your own purposes or something you just don't want in Google's index. And what happens is if those pages do show up in the Google index and haphazardly get clicked on by a user, if you're tracking a thank you page, for example, or a confirmation page after a purchase or someone fills out a form, what happens is that shows up in your Google Analytics. So it could look a little bit goofy in your analytics. It looks like you've got a lot of leads and sales, but the reality is you really didn't. Somebody landed on that page after finding it in a Google search rather than going through your conversion funnel of purchasing or filling out a form. So what we want to do is we want to make sure they don't show up in the index, and it's very easy to do. If you're using WordPress, let me show you just a quick tip on how to do this. So if you're using WordPress, here's an example of a page on our website. We have this fun little SEO monitoring service where basically just download your Search Console information and just do some other things to make sure that nothing crazy is going on with your SEO. And so we got this little program. Somebody fills out a form or they subscribe for this program, and they get to a thank you page. Hey, thanks for signing up. On our analytics, we'll look at that page and say, oh wow, check it out. We had 50 people visit us from Google who ended up actually purchasing our monitoring program. That's pretty exciting. And then we look at it and we're like, wait a minute, I only have 30 enrollments. How does it show 50? What happened there? Maybe the page got indexed. So what we want to do is log in. I'm going to use WordPress as an example, and then I'll show you a tag that you can add manually if you're not using WordPress. So you're going to scroll into the page itself, and then you're going to go to your Yoast SEO or whatever plugin you happen to be using for search, and you're going to go into settings. And so here's an example where here's a page that we don't want to index. This is our thank you page. Right, so on this one it says service thanks, and what we want to do is make sure that the Meta Robots index is set for no index. But we do want to make sure search engines can continue to crawl through the website. We just don't want this individual page indexed. So that's basically all you have to do in WordPress. Set this to no index, leave it as follow. Don't worry as much about these other features, and then go ahead and update your post. And that's it. And that'll make sure that it doesn't show up. Now, some other things that you want to do to make sure search engines don't get this piece of content is you want to exclude it from your XML sitemap. You want to make sure it's excluded from your HTML sitemap so that search engines can't crawl to it. So here's an example, SEO monitoring service. We want to make sure that that thank you page doesn't show up under services, which it doesn't. Looks like we're good. Oh, here it is. So it actually is on this page right now. It's a brand new page I created just to show you how it works. So let's go ahead and exclude this from the XML. Let's go to the page itself, which I have here. You can click on edit service, but I think I already have it open. You're going to take this number 4272 and whatever plugin you happen to be using for your sitemap, that's what you're going to want to edit. So I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to go into Quay here. This happens to be the one I'm using, and I'm going to exclude that from showing up in that HTML sitemap. So let's go back. Let's refresh. And now it's gone. Let's also make sure it doesn't show up in the XML. So let's go to the page itself again. Let's go back, edit service. We're going to go down to advanced over here again. We want to make sure that this doesn't show up in our XML sitemap. And it appears with the current version of Yoast that we're using that no index automatically removes it from your XML sitemap. If you're not using the Yoast SEO plugin, you do want to make sure that whatever plugin you happen to be using is making sure that the page is removed from the XML file. I showed you how to do the HTML, and I showed you how to put a no index tag. Now, if you're not using WordPress, what you want to do is add a simple tag to this page. And the tag is a meta tag, and it's called robots, name equals robots. And it says, hey, Googlebot, hey, Bingbot, hey, whatever the crawler happens to be. I don't want you to put this in your index, but go ahead and continue crawling through my website. Doing this allows your page to still get crawled and still allow for a path through for search engines without blocking them, it just tells them, please don't index this content. Another misconception that's changed over the years is adding a disallow to the robots.txt file on the root, telling search engines not to go into certain pages like your thank you pages. But there's a challenge with that. One, users who are technical savvy can still go to your robots.txt and find those pages that you're disallowing and go to them manually. So you're basically just giving them a list of places you don't want them to go. Of course, they're going to go. They're going to see what's on that page. Second is now you're telling search engines, basically, I don't want you to crawl through this content because I might be hiding something, or I might have something going on that I don't want you to know about. So let's just let them crawl everything. If you don't want it indexed, just put a no index on it. I'll make sure it doesn't show up in Google Search Index, and if it does, you could use their removal tool to have that page removed. But it's very unlikely if you put a no index that page will show up in Google's index. Anyway, so this is Steve Wiedemann walking you through why and how you can prevent a page from showing up in Google search results, particularly those confirmation thank you pages. And thank you for allowing me to go through that exercise on our own website here today. This is Steve. Thanks for watching.